The wise owl has always been synonymous with school, and in this video today we're going to jump into the next part of our back to school bundle. It's a very cute wise owl. It's a pencil and pad holder that also has a little spot for a gift card. So this one is mostly a paper piecing sort of thing. It's going to go together very quickly. And we're just gonna kind of start piecing some things together to get them ready for the final assembly. So let's start with something pretty simple here. We've got, you wanna find this piece here. I ran some ink across that piece, and I did the same with this white piece. I also ran it through an embossing folder. We're gonna connect these two pieces. You wanna make sure that the scallops all match up. There's gonna be a little ring inside. So make sure that you, when you're applying this, you're doing it the correct way. But let's get our glue on the back of this. I'm kind of doing circles so that I get a little bit of that glue onto the actual scallops, the outer edges of the scallops, I should say. So just focus on matching up the little scallop shape and then just push that down. Okay. And then once we have that in place, we're going to take this and we're going to glue this to this piece here. And the trick here, it's not really a trick, just want to make sure that you match them up with the little eyeball or the pupils. Actually, I don't think they're the pupils. Those would be the, not my forte. The iris, maybe? I might need to go back to school to relearn that. So let's get our glue on the back of this, and again, just make sure that you match up that little part in the middle there and that you don't show any of the underlying color coming through on this layer here. Okay, so that's that. Now ultimately, when we get down to the nitty-gritty here and we start the assembly, we're going to actually pop dot this or foam square it, whatever it is that you use. Let's go ahead and assemble our little book here. I ran this through an embossing folder, and we'll take these pieces here. I'll start with the white piece, almost looks like a little windshield wiper. And I'm going to get that glued to the shadow layer below it. I also ran some turquoise ink over this to kind of match with the blue underneath, or the turquoise underneath. Okay, so that's that. Do the same thing on the other side. And with little pieces like this, if you can do really thin lines with your bottle, go for it. Otherwise, maybe just use little dots of glue. Okay, just match that up nicely. Get that in place. Let's get that ready. And I can go ahead and get this glued in place here. You'll notice that there's three little ridges here, I guess we'll call them. They just match up with the three little ridges on the actual base of our book. So let's get our glue on that and pop that in place. There we go. That looks good. And the next one here. Okay. Same thing, the three little ridges there on the side. Just make sure you match those all up nicely. Just like that. So it's starting to look like a little book there. Now we've got the owl's little hands here, or his wings. So let's get our glue on the back of this piece. Just make sure that you grab the right one for his left and right. And you'll notice that there's a bit of a cutout here to help you with the alignment of this. So just match that up so that it sits nice and flush against that curve. And then just push that down. Okay, and the same thing on the other side. Now, if you did emboss your book, you may need to go a little bit heavier on the glue here so that you get a nice tight grip there. Just get that lined up, give that a push. And then the middle of our book, we're actually going to use some foam squares to give that a little bit of dimension. I'm going to use a full-size one here in the center, and then I think I could probably get away with another full-size one. We don't have to bring it all the way down. That should work. Let me grab my X-Acto. I can peel that off nicely. Okay. And so the bottom of this, you want to line up with the bottom here. Get that nice and centered. And just push that down. There we go. Okay, so there's our book portion. That's pretty much good to go. Now what we can do next is take this piece here and may as well get this all glued down. So you want to find this piece here. It's a long piece. It doesn't have any tabs on it. You can get this folded just to kind of get it ready for later. And let's glue the owl down. There are some markers here to help you with the alignment of this. Okay, so let's get our glue on here. And just make sure that you don't put any glue on the little feathers, the little ruffles that we have on here. You may want to just peel those back so you don't accidentally glue them down, because that's going to add a little bit of added dimension to our project here. So just get that glued down into place. Again, follow the little guides there. Okay, and there's going to be one for the hat and then one for each of his little ears. So just make sure that you've got that nice and centered. Then go ahead and push that down. Okay. And then we're not going to put the book on here just yet. We're going to do that after we get this all assembled. I want to try to work flat for as long as possible. Got his little feet, or his little talons, whatever you want to call them. Let's get those in place here, like so. Grab the other one. And pop that in place. There we go. Okay, so that is ready for action. Put that off to the side for a second, and we can take a look at this piece here. So what we're going to do, and I already kind of folded at the tabs here, I'm going to get this guy in place. That is his face. So let's add some glue to his little mortar board. Going very subtle with this. I want it to be nice and crisp. I don't want any paper warping, but I also want it to hold up and kind of make sure that it lasts for at least one school year. Hopefully your teacher gets a lot of use out of this. All right, so we're just matching up the little nose there at the bottom and the little cheeks. So just make sure that you get that nice and lined up. It may help to kind of flip it over to ensure that you've got it precisely lined up. Give that a push. Make sure that sticks nicely. And we're going to put the little beak on here. So let's do that. And just get that down at the bottom there. Match it up with the existing little shadow portion. There we go. All right. We've got two black circles. Those are going to be for his eyeballs. And we do have markers here to help you with the alignment on these so that everything works nicely for us. And that looks pretty darn good. Let's get the other one in place. There we go. And pop that in place here. There we go. All right, now the mortar board, or the graduation cap, we're going to put this on here, but we're not going to glue the little tassel down. We're going to leave that up because it's going to go above the next layer here that we're going to put down eventually. Okay, so let's just get this glued down flat. Again, making sure that you don't glue down the mortar board, or the tassel, I should say. Okay, so just match that up with the shadow portion on, in my case, the brown piece. And just kind of nudge that and get it into the correct location. And I did not glue down the tassel. I left that kind of hanging freely, as you can see there. Okay, so we're gonna add these two elements to everything once we're all done with the assembly and construction of the actual little notepad holder. But what we can do at this point is, now first off, we can take this and we can glue this to the top here. Okay, this is going to be where the little notepad goes in, and our little lid is going to go up here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take this, and you can see that it's kind of double scored here, and that's just to account for the thickness of our little notepad. But you want to make sure that you don't get any glue on that. Just put glue on the tab. I'm going to spread that out, get it right out to the edge. I'm going to need a little more than that. Okay, get that right out to the edge there, so we get a nice clean connection. And just line that up so that it's nice and even on both sides, and then, whoops, actually, you gotta line it up to the tab, like so. I almost did that wrong. Get that lined up and then just push the tab over. And let's take a look here. That looks good. Again, you want it to be like that to account for the notepad that we're gonna put in there. Okay, so that's step one. Step two now is gonna be to glue this to this part here. So you wanna make sure that you have these tabs coming in already. And there's a little pencil holder built into this. And if it's kind of confusing at first, what I'd recommend you do is grab a number 2 pencil and pop it in there, and then just take this tab and bring it all the way back here until it's nice and tight, until it matches this edge here, so you know exactly where to glue that. So we're going to put some glue on the inside of this tab here. Okay, and I'm going to get that glue right out to the edge. And I'm actually going to put my pencil in here because I feel like it makes it easier to know where to put it and just get that glued in place. And that should hold the pencil for us nicely. Okay, now that it's in place, you can actually use the pencil to kind of hold everything in place, and then just push down on the tab. And there you go. So you can see how it kind of holds the pencil in place. We can remove the pencil for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece and we're going to glue it to these tabs here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just glue the bottom of this on first, just so that we can focus on making sure that it's aligned one way before we try to get everything else in place. So just get your glue on this tab here, and I'm going to spread that all the way out to the edge. There we go, just like that. And then get that lined up. Actually, you could just do it like this. That's fine. Just make sure that you have it nice and aligned all the way across, like that. And just give that a push. Let that glue bond and set. There we go. Let's take a look at that. That's wonderful. Okay, and then what we can do is we can put glue on the remaining tabs here. Okay, and I'm going to spread that glue out nice and thin, get it right out to the edge, and just fold this over, connect with those tabs, and then push down. I'm going to use my pencil here on the other side to give me a nice pressure. Okay, there we go. Okay, so again, your little notepad, the cardboard part of it is going to slide into that little section. We're going to cover that up in just a moment. All right, now, while this thing is still flat, mostly, I'm gonna flip this over for a second, and we can put our little gift card slot on the back of this, just to get that out of the way. Okay, so just fold those tabs over, and let's get our glue. Might as well just do all three of them. It's a pretty small little shape here, so I think we can do it. And a little line right out to the edge. Spread that nice and thin right up to the border. There we go. And you'll notice on the back of this piece here that we have some guides to help you with the positioning of this. So just, I would start at the bottom, hold it from right there, make sure that the bottom is nice and aligned, and then the rest of it should just kind of fall into place. So that is where you can slide in a cute little gift card. Okay. There we go. Okay, now we're going to take this piece and we're going to glue our tab to the bottom of this piece here. So it's like this. Okay, so let's get our glue on this piece here. And let's run that glue right out to the very edge. Okay, and I'm just going to lay this down on my surface here and align that tab nicely with the bottom. Make sure that you've got it nice and centered. And I think that's pretty darn close. And just fold that over. Let's take a look here at the bottom. Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good job there. Okay. So now, I'm just going to put this in here just to kind of thicken this thing up a little bit. But as you can see, we're going to slide this in here. So that's going to hold our actual paper pad in place, and it'll cover up the tabs nicely for us as well. There we go. And we're going to include the dimensions for all this stuff on the website. So if you're looking for, you know, the size of the paper pad, we'll get all that information to you. And this actually needs to slide down a little more. There we go. Now it's in place. Let's get it nice and centered. Okay. All right, so at this point, a couple things we can do. You'll notice that on the inside here is a little circle. That is where the little magnet's going to go. Okay. And to figure out where the other side of the magnet's going to go, you can just kind of, well, I got to take the sticky off of this. You just place the other magnet on top of the magnet that's already there, so that when this closes, it will close and put that magnet in the correct spot. Okay, so there we go. Now the magnet's in the correct spot. All right, and all that's left to do, we're going to slide our pencil in, get that in place, and I'm going to put our little eyeballs on here. Remember, I mentioned we were going to do some foam squares on this. So let's flip that over. And we can do foam squares pretty much on this entire surface here. I don't think we need that many. I'm going to start up here just to get one at the top. Let's go one right here. I'd say, I think one in the center here will do. And then maybe one here, and maybe just one more right here. Okay, so let's peel these back. We'll get this in place. What a cute little gift. And I know it's the age that we're in right now with all this technology. I still find myself reaching for a piece of paper and a pen. I typically, I'll then transfer it over to my phone. if I need to, make it permanent or whatever, but this is really cool. So what we want to do is we're going to lift the little tassel up and slide this under and match it up with the existing brown part and just press that down. Okay, and then you can put a little drop of glue on that if you want, on the actual tassel. Or actually what we can do is, let me find my little dowel here. I'm going to take this, whoops, it's getting really hot in here. Take this and just kind of curve it so that it's kind of flaring out just a little bit. And it may help to just put a little dot of glue at the bottom of the little circular part of the tassel so that it just kind of sits up against the owl's face. Okay, so there is our cute owl, and he's all good. And then all that's left to do is pop dot our little book, and you'll notice this topmost little ridge part, that's going to kind of run along his little feathers. So that's kind of how you know that you have it aligned correctly, kind of like that. And of course you want to make sure that it's nice and centered, so it's all nice and symmetrical. So let's get some foam squares on this. Okay, and I'm going to start in the center and get 2 in the middle, and then just kind of work your way out. I don't know if I'm not going to go all the way out to the perimeter of this. I think that will probably be enough. And let's see, should we do some more there? Let me see how this sits. I think that's enough. Okay. All right, so let's peel this back. All right. And oh, that one didn't want to stay very well. There we go. Yeah, just get this little last piece in place and your gift is done. Grab a little gift card at your local grocery store or at Starbucks or whatever you think your teacher or your child's teacher will enjoy. And again, let's get this nice and lined up. Make sure it's nice and centered. And right about there, I'd say. Let's see, sorry about my head. I gotta kind of get it in the way for just a second so I don't mess this up. I'll show you the end result here in just a moment. And that is about right. There we go. Okay, so there you go. Really cute, it opens up, folds open. You can write your little note there, and close it up when you're done. And that's it. On the back, of course, a little slot for a gift card. We've thought of it all, ladies and gentlemen. And again, this is a great way to make a good first impression with your teacher, your child's teacher, I should say, or your grandchild's teacher. So hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, please visit us on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. If you do make this project, please post a photo of it in our Facebook group. Head over to Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Group. And as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Stay on top of all things Dreaming Tree and engage with us today. Get the latest news and enter in our giveaways on Facebook. Get inspired by following us on Pinterest. Be the first to see our new product launches on Instagram. Do you prefer Twitter? Yep, we're there too. Watch our beautiful product trailers and assembly tutorials on YouTube. For more information, visit www.3dsvg.com. Live, craft, love, and dream.